Welcome to the Akashic Records on the land of the United States of America. I just opened the records prior, so this is a live reading. And I'm just kind of sitting in the opening visual, the opening image, waiting for it to get a little bit clearer. But it's kind of aggressive, clearly, with what's going on. I'm being shown almost like a person being like very slowly stabbed and it finally hitting the point where it punctures through and the person is having the reaction of and so in that like tipping point, right? This like sharp object puncturing through the skin into the vital organs. So the surface, the skin of a person, the skin of the land, the surface of the land, puncturing. And then that wake up, the eyes, and the gasping for air. And that's our wake up call. And that is they're saying current events reaction of the land. They're saying to torturing the land, torturing the land. It's been a slow process of torturing the land, and we're hitting tipping point. And part of that like waking up and that release is not just the land having its reaction and shock of torture, but it's also the people. Okay, opening message. Thank you. All right, so I wanted to go north, south, east, and west with this reading to kind of check the temperature of like where we're at and things we might need to go, need to do, need to know, go, need to go. Oh my God, interesting. That was not an unintentional slip, apparently. They are saying movement, moving, migration begins. Okay, so not even saying north, south, east, west yet. Let's see. They're showing like trees blowing in the wind and like blowing in a direction and paying attention to where you're being blown to or away from. Where are you feeling the movement moving you? They're saying this is spirit. Spirit is telling us where to go. They're saying seeking higher ground in areas with flooding. Duh. Okay, so they are emphasizing movement. They said pay attention to your location. What's happening right now? They're like nothing. Okay, what happens when things are bad? They're saying big trauma events. What happens when there are the catastrophic? Start thinking about the history of the location that you're living in. Historically, look it up, do your research. And this has been ringing in my head for the past like 2 months. What is the 100-year flood? And speed it up, bring it to today. What are the details of your catastrophic tornadoes or hurricanes or forest fires? What are the climatic catastrophic events known for the area that we have previously considered, the 100-year event, the this, the that, whatever. It's like, okay, right now, every day, plan for, they're saying, the possibility and the potential. Plan, prepare. by planning and preparing, they're saying, can give ourselves a foundation, an idea, and a sense of security. They're saying plan of action. Plan your plan of action based on where you live. Pay attention to the environment. That requires, they're saying, time, again, patience, slow down, understand, read. They're saying actually be in the environment, be in the space, go be out with the nature and sit with it. They're saying ask your questions. They're saying the messaging is clear. Don't second guess the messaging from spirit. When you are sitting in nature, they are saying you are among the spiritual realm when you sit in nature. Ask your questions. What should I do? Where should I go? How should I do this? How should I do that? They're saying ask. They're saying your plan of action depends on your ability for deep listening. Listening skills. Practice your deep listening skills. They're saying ask yourself, ask your heart. Should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I move? They're like rebuild, reboot, get the boot. They're kind of playing with boot. Bootstraps. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. They're kind of like adulting. Adulting requires plan of action, preparation. Okay. I love when the flood comes out. Not that flood, this flow flood. Whew. Okay. So let's go north. I want to ask, what types of catastrophic environmental challenges can we plan and prepare for in the north? What can we expect in the north? High winds, high waters, lower level, trees, high winds, heavy winds, trees. Frost on food, right? So the seasons, the cold. Okay, so they're saying when you're growing your crops, if you're growing crops, they're saying, planning for longer, more brutal drying out winters, eroding the soils, plan for that. And then plan for, they're saying longer drought seasons, drying the shit out of everything. So they're saying soil is key. Tending to the soil is key. They're saying preparing for replenishing the soil. They're saying constantly. They're like leftover food, compost. Like we have it all the time. We have it all the fucking time. So that is north. Anything else for the north? They're saying secret sauce. Whoa. So the secret sauce is in the north, right? They're showing like the map of the US and like the south and the north, and they're showing this like big wave of people from the south moving to the north for the secret sauce, which is survival. But they're also playing around and they're calling it thrival. So they're just showing just a ton of people just moving up north. Okay, let's go to the south. What type of environmental catastrophic events can we expect in the south? They're showing those hurricane winds like ripping up the dirt. They're showing like as if like a hurricane or tornado just like straight up like ripped up the dirt, like really, really deep. Let me see. Mud. Interesting. seeing like a drilling. They're saying like erosion and drilling. They're saying dead soil, barren land, wasteland. And they're saying like if not tended to. They're saying critical, crucial, massive soil erosion. They're saying like wind erosion. They're saying wind erosion, and they're showing like they're saying high storms, flooding. They're showing like this angle in like a valley, right? And they're showing that valley like fill up and like flood. So I'm wondering if actually they're inviting this, and I have been wanting to share this. It's the reality, and it sucks. If you're at the bottom of a watershed, New Orleans, it's the bottom of a watershed. It's just going to keep flooding. It's just going to keep getting pummeled. It is not a smart idea to rebuild in those places. It's going to keep happening. It is better to move and rebuild elsewhere. That's the reality. And being really close to bodies of water when you're prone to flooding, you're waiting. It's going to keep happening. So, and that is hard to swallow, right? So they're giving me that experience. This is the reality. They're saying this is the reality of our future. This is the reality of the future. They're like, stay, go. You can stay or you can go. But they're like, what's more important? Like, what's most important to you? And they're kind of showing like special treasures, memories. They're like memories. Obviously, like your home, right? But they're really putting you up against like life, family, friends, like the people versus like the things. And it's just, you're gonna keep being up against this most important decision. It's like, what are you? They're saying are you willing to go? They're saying, are you willing to go? And that's going to be everybody's individual choice. That's going to be your choice. Are you willing to go? Or do you want to stay? And they're calling the staying, knowing that this is going to keep happening. They're saying it's a stubborn mistake. Okay. South. Keep going with the South. Oh, so part of that, the soil conversation, they just showed me like a farm and a tractor on a farm, like trying to work with this like muddy soil and then this like dry soil. And they're just like the erosion, lack of nutrients. And they're showing that because of the increase of the storms, the animals who partake in the ecosystems to make this stuff work, when they know, they're saying they're smarter than us. They're saying a lot of the time, they know to go. So they're also saying, watch wildlife. If you see wildlife leaving, that is they're saying, indication to also flee. They're like, we used to be all up in nature, working with the animals, watching the animals, getting to know the animals, paying attention to their patterns, saying following their lead when they knew something we didn't. They're actually saying vice versa, but they're saying vice versa was like a long time ago. So if you notice that animals and the ecosystems aren't there, and they're a part of tending to the soil and helping us with our food system. They're really a vital aspect of our food systems. So if you're watching the animals peace out, that is your cue to, they're saying, get the fuck out. Okay? They're saying environmental systems, the ecosystems. They're saying the ecosystems don't lie. They're true. And a dove just jumped on my little balcony to say hi. I love my doves. Paying attention to the wildlife in your area is critical as well. Okay. So what should the South plan for? they're showing the mass migration, and they're saying elsewhere. Okay, let's go to the east. Slammed. They just said slammed. The east coast of the United States of America. What are the most important messages? What are the most common environmental catastrophic occurrences that we're going to be experiencing that we should prepare for? East Coast. They're showing the coastal line receding. They're showing the coastal line receding. And they're saying it's like a mix. They're kind of showing like the tornadoes, the hurricanes. It's like they're saying dual, they're calling it dual action. So they're like sea level rise and hurricanes kind of like along the edges, like ripping stuff up, and like the edge of the East Coast kind of like they're showing them like receding into the water. Is the word receding? You know what I mean? And it's interesting. I'm actually seeing like Florida like disappear, and it like rounds out not so much the north, but it starts to round out the shape of the United States. So all y'all moving to Florida. Maybe not so long. Like don't be there for so long. Like pay attention. Like as this stuff is kicking up, that is your cue to fucking move. Okay. East Coast. What else about the East Coast? They're saying high winds. The trees. So I guess similar to north, but they're saying and the rise of sea level as well. What's interesting is like they're showing like our like they're saying like nutrients in the soil up in like the northeast, like we have all this like rich soil and land, and like they're saying risk factor of like having all that like high quality good like soil nutrients food that we can grow, like the thriving ecosystems, like we've got all this stuff up there, and they're saying there's a high risk factor. So East Coast, up and down the East Coast. So what is our plan of action? They just said higher ground. They're like slowly over time start moving to higher ground. They're saying smart choice. They're saying smart thermostat, temperatures. Smart rise. They're saying there's something with, what is this with temperature? Because they're going cooler, warmer. Waves. Oh, the temperatures. Oh, mixed. They're kind of saying like the diversity is going, okay, and they're saying like hurricanes. So like the heat and the cool are going to have this like chaotic kind of mixy, they're calling it turmoil. And they're saying tells us something. That tells you something. Okay. So again, with the paying attention to your environment, when you start noticing the like extreme in short time, like short amount of time, short term, like mixy temperatures, they're kind of saying that's your cue, that something bigger is coming. Something bigger is going on. We're going to have, like we've had like 90-degree days and then like 60. Or like we'd have had like 20-degree temperature ranges in one fucking day. It wasn't like that long ago. So they're saying when the temperatures, cooler, warmer, starts getting all mixy, that's our like innate like nature call to be like something bigger is coming. And they're kind of saying in like a few weeks, like 1 to 2 months. So they're saying like higher ground. They're kind of saying higher ground, period. if you're like along like coastal. Okay, let me see. What's the most important message that the East Coast of the United States of America needs to know? The land of the East Coast of the United States of America. What's the most important message? They're showing like the whole edge, just kind of like just imagine it chopping off. And they're saying like 20 years. They're actually giving a time frame. Like it might be like 20 years from now. But the point, they're saying it could be in places 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. They're giving that range. The point of saying it now is plan for your 10, 15, 20-year life plan to be moving, they're saying inland, they're calling it mainland, but like inland. And they're saying seeking higher ground. And they're kind of like the mountains are calling for a reason. So if you're like suddenly getting into like, I want to go hiking, I want to go out to the mountains, I want to go camping, I want this. If you're like feeling like the mountains calling you, they're like, don't ignore that, please. They're like, that is your spiritual team trying to tell you like, oh, you feel better when you hike, right? They're kind of like dangling a carrot. They're like, you like this, right? Like, come on, because in 20 years, you're really going to need to be up there. Okay? Okay. East Coast. West Coast. Okay. What is going on with the West Coast? What is the most important environmental, catastrophic, possible information, occurrences that we need to know about the West Coast? They said burnout. Burnt. They're saying fires and flood. They're saying fires, flood, mud. They're like cues all around. Don't ignore the cues. They're showing the fires being, they're saying like hard to gauge where, right? Because it's like starts here and then like it moves. They're saying like they're like, look at a flame. Like look at a flame and like watch the way it like flickers and moves, or even like watch the smoke. Like watch how it moves, like get to know the characteristics, like how a fire moves, how smoke moves, to understand. They're saying it's unpredictability. Scary. So you have to really like accept that there are aspects of the West Coast where there is unpredictability. And so they're saying your preparedness, your plan of action is, how can I start getting comfortable and work with unpredictability? They're saying like drop on a dime. Like how can I make myself mobile at the drop of a dime? Drop of a hat, drop of a dime. What's the phrase? I don't know. They're saying dime. Oh my God, dime. Okay, dime. They're showing a dime and they're like heads or tails. Heads or tails. 50-50 chance. You have 50-50 chances. Heads or tails. Stay or go. So they're saying the unpredictability of the West Coast with the fires is like, they're saying high risk. So they're pushing everybody in. I'm going to do the middle too, because we all know there's tornadoes in the middle. So we're going to get there. So West Coast. They're just kind of repeating like burnout. But I'm seeing like if you go further north, like Pacific Northwest, right? They're like lush. So they're showing people moving north, right? Pacific Northwest. They're actually saying like into Canada. So they're saying the migration is going to be up towards the Pacific Northwest in Canada. And they're showing like the San Francisco area becoming more of a, like, considered like a southern habitable, what's left of southern habitable land in the West Coast. So how can West Coasters prepare for it? How can West Coasters prepare for the environments to come? They are also saying pay attention to the cues and pay attention to the animals and the ecosystems. They're saying great suffering. And it's interesting. I'm seeing like, oh my God. Okay. So this is what they're showing. Do you see animals kind of like overheated and burned? Like they're actually showing like as if like you're walking down the street and you see like a dead bird on the ground, and it like you're like, wait, how did this bird die? It like cooked from the heat. They're like energy generated. Like if you're living in air conditioning, they're saying that's a false sense of information. It's cooking outside and you're inside in your fucking air conditioning. Pay attention to how the animals are, they're kind of saying like dying off in the heat. And they're saying that's your cue. If you start seeing random animals like dying, dead, died and cooked on the side of the road, or like you're gonna look at an animal and you're gonna know something. That's the thing. When you are paying attention to your environment, when you're paying attention to the weather, when you're looking outside at a storm or certain types of winds, or you're looking and you're seeing animals, you're gonna notice bizarre shit. It's gonna stop you in your tracks and make you fucking think. You might even be like, yo, I saw this today, da da da. That is your cue that something is really not right, that something is dangerous. Don't go back to your little like safe air conditioned apartment and be like, oh, no big deal, nothing's fine. Because like they're saying like once your power goes out, you're with the rest of them. Once your like modern technology fails because it becomes so extreme, you're with everybody else. You're with all the animals on the planet, and you're gonna have to figure it out then. So they're saying pay attention to the animal population. They're saying the dead animal population. Why are they dying? What are they dying from? They're saying that's your cue. Okay. Sorry, this is getting serious, but this is fucking serious. Okay, let's go with like the middle. Let's go into the middle of the land of the United States of America. They're saying the land in the middle needs replenishing. The land. They're saying erosion, farming, over-farmed. They're saying overturned. They're saying pesticides, poison in the fucking soils. Of course, our agriculture system is fucking stupid. Sorry, that was personal. But they're showing like the center of the country. They're just showing like dry sandy soil, and they're saying it shouldn't be eroded. It's not meant to be eroded. And so again, with the compost and the food, compost scraps, they're saying replenishing the soil. So let's see. Now for the preparedness. Did I say preparedness for the West Coast? Okay, the preparedness for the West Coast is they're saying be flexible. Be mobile and be flexible. Be aware of the cues and know when it's time to leave. They're saying 10, 15, 20 years. It seems to be an ongoing time frame, so I would go with that. And then for the middle, what should the middle prepare for? They're saying tornadoes. They're saying mostly tornadoes. More tornadoes, mostly tornadoes. And they're showing like different types of housing, like building and rebuilding housing. And they're like smart, innovative, plus ecosystem, building homes. They're kind of saying embedded in the ecosystem. meant to be a part of the ecosystem. They're saying more important than they're like fancy houses, fancy mansions. And they're showing like adobe dome houses. And they're saying like earth smart, like made of the earth. They're saying like less impacted in the ground, being kind of embedded in the ground. That's interesting. They're saying new housing improvements. Home improvement is going to have a whole new, they're saying like flip. They're like flipping houses to be like, they're saying adobe, clay. They're like earthbound, earth made. So they're saying rebuilding, question mark. If you're rebuilding, they're like, consider these options. And they're saying like natural materials meant for the environment, the landscape where you live in. They're like, what's naturally grown there? What's naturally there? They're like, what natural materials belong in that environment? And they're saying most likely to last. But there's also this like underlying sense of like, don't get attached to they're saying settlement. They're like, try not to be attached to a place. They're saying homebound. Don't be homebound. They're saying homebound. Like if you're homebound, they're saying that stubborn mistake. If you're going to be stubborn about your home, they're saying homeward bound. Homebound? Homeward bound. Sorry, that's an intense, but there it is. So, okay, let's bring it home in an optimistic light, because I'm starting to see all this other stuff. They're like regenerative farming. Like all of these things are happening. Regenerative farming is happening. We're listening to the indigenous. The indigenous are having louder voices. We're amplifying the indigenous voices. They're even emphasizing things like permaculture. They're saying reuse, recycle, soil education, composting, garbage, what we use, how we reuse garbage. Like they're saying there's a massive revolution that is under the radar. So there is a lot happening that you're not able to witness on mainstream television, that these things are already happening. And so, but there is this, they're showing this movement kind of like up into like the northern parts of the country. And then I'm getting like light bulb ideas, like the impact of what we're experiencing is people are having their aha moment. They're waking up to this shit. And in that, they're saying state of emergency, people are beginning to realize that something finally must be done. Not in, back when we knew about this stuff in the 1970s when Carter was president. And we could have been doing stuff since then. People are like, oh shit. They're like, time to go, time to get to work, time to figure it out. And they're like, let's do this, ready, set, go. Like that's what's happening, right? Now it's time. Now it's time to invest in infrastructure. Now it's time to, they're saying earthbound, earth awakening. So let me go back real fast. Middle, did I already do that? What's the most important message for the middle, the heartland, the heart of the United States of America? They're just saying poised for tornadoes. And that's like life-threatening. They're saying calmer waters, like further north. Like your calmer waters are further north. So my question is, solution. Like what can we possibly do to help balance this out? What can we possibly do to help balance any of this out? They're saying movement, migration. They're like, be smart. They're saying, like, try again, try your best they're saying implement ecosystemic education. Like, they're like, teach, pass it on. Oh, they're kind of saying, like, for people who are planning to stay, be educated on how you can survive and thrive in that type of environment. And then they're showing kind of someone like coming down to teach a region how they can manage and live with whatever turmoil they're experiencing. And then they're going where they're from. It's like, okay, you're going to be stubborn. You want to stay? Then this is what you have to do in order to survive. And they're going like this, like, get to work. Like, you're going to have to get to work. And they're kind of saying at your own risk. At your own risk. But they're saying educational. They're saying like massive education. And they're like, it's a back to school season. They're saying, are you educating yourself on your environmental future? Because they're saying this is crucial, this is critical. Your state of, they're saying, existence depends on your education of your environment. So back to school season, what are you studying? What is your education focused on? They're saying what's important. Pay attention. They're kind of like showing someone like clock, 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 clock. And then they're showing like what is it going to take to have to care about the environment? Like, what is it going to take for you to have to recognize, like, pay attention to the warning signs? Like, these things aren't just one at a time. Like, they happen even closer. We're going to keep having them happen even closer. Yeah. So let's see if we can ask about the benefits. The benefits. What are the benefits of all the catastrophic environmental experiences that we are witnessing and going through right now? What are the benefits? What are the benefits? They're saying you're going to find God in yourself. You're going to find your personal power. You're going to find they're saying your truth. You're going to find your truth. You're going to find your purpose. You are finding. They're saying you're going to learn to listen to each other. You're going to learn to listen, they're saying, to the trees, to the plants, to the animals. They're saying to the waves. The benefits are you're going to be, they're saying, reconnected to Mother Earth because she is slapping you in the fucking face. Saying, wake up. Hello. You're fucking up. They're showing a wave. They're saying waves. Each wave is going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger. And it's going to get bigger. They're saying fluid. Be fluid. Be fluid, be mobile, be flexible, be creative, be adaptable. They're saying life's adventure. They're like life's new adventures. They're saying this is going to be really serious and scary, obviously, but they're saying learn to adapt. The adaptability is going to be that they're saying life goes on. like life is going to keep going and we're just going to roll with it. Like we're going to learn how to adapt. We're going to learn how to be more mobile. We're going to learn how to, they're saying soil education for food. Because if the land's going to keep getting eroded and torn up, whether it's by our agriculture or storms, we're going to have to constantly be replenishing, constantly coming up with ways to replenish the soil. All right. Serious times call for serious readings. Let's see if there's anything else. What is the most important message that we need to know from the Akashic Records on the land of the United States of America in regards to the increasing climate catastrophes? Be in alignment. They're saying work together. They're saying get to the root of what's troublesome between people and communities. And they said, and fast. Because they said it's meaningless in the end, in the bigger picture. They're like this. They're saying this is useless. And this is going to make you helpless. They're going like this. You need to do this. You need to work together. We need to work together. We need to talk. We need to stop. We need to listen. They're saying listen to each other. Educational. They're repeating soil education, environmental education. But they're just saying work together. They're going like this. Band together. And they're saying nationally, and they're saying globally. They're saying global network. We should be tapping into our global networks and all their environments. They're saying to get intelligence about extreme lands elsewhere to teach us how to deal with extreme lands nationally. Okay? Okay. So that was the Akashic Records on the land of the United States of America, and probably the longest reading I've done. If you've bared with me, that's awesome. Thank you for being here. And I would share this with everyone you know. And if you learned things in particular, share that with everyone you know. All right. I'll see you guys next time.